just want to apologize because I'm going to switch back to English. Just my Romanian knowledge is far too weak, so I'm just going to keep on in English. Good afternoon. So I'm Nicolas Willieme, working from Malakoff Mederic. So Malakoff Mederic is the name of my company. I'm just going to say a few words about Malakoff Mederic. Malakoff Mederic is a big insurance company in France. We are working on two different type of work. The first one is insurance, insuring people and insuring companies. And the other part is everything what is related to the pension. So redistributing the pension from the company to the people going to pension. So that's the two different type of assignment that our company has. Our company is 6,500 or 7,000 people, depending of the company which are working for us. And we've got approximately 3 million clients just in France. We're just a France-based company. We've got 60 entities in France and just working in France. The biggest question was, at the beginning, we didn't want to go on Google because it was another project. At the origin of the project, we had two issues to face. The first issue was everybody was sending emails, PowerPoint stuff, and we spent all our time buying new server, trying to delete information from the server, duplicating server, and so on. So we were trying to find a new solution to archive all the information we have on our server and try to stop buying server all the time. The second thing was to try to stop this continuous growth of archiving and try also to set new work rules. Like, for example, basically we were on Office and Outlook, like most of the company currently are. And the thing is, in our Outlook messaging system, we had a limit of 100 MB in the inbox. So every Monday morning, we had hundreds of calls as a support, just asking to open these limits and to solve the issue and people not receiving mails and so on and so on. So we had the possibility to set new good practices, like when you receive an email, just store the email in a PST or try to put your information on shared folders and so on. But, I mean, you know, good practices, they last for 3 weeks and after you just keep on working like you did before. So we had to find another solution. So after starting this study, we started to investigate and someone told us about the Google solution. So we began our investigation and we split the project in two. The first project was archiving all the databases on some other support, some cheaper support like a cassette or everything what could be put on cheaper support than a expensive server. That was the first part of the project. And the other part of the project was trying to analyze what we could do with all the Office documents and with all the messaging tools. That's why we started the Google Apps project. And yeah, we made two proofs of concept. The first one was on the Office solution, on the I think it was Office 2010 and some other point like SharePoint, like Communicator and stuff. And the other proof of concept was on Google. At this time, Microsoft didn't have a whole package solution, just a solution made of SharePoint, Communicator, and things like this. It was not as advanced as it is now. But nevertheless, in September 2009, we decided to move to Google. And that was the starting of the project. We started the project in October 2009, and we ended it in November 2010. Why did we spend 1 year to move 6,500 employees to Google? It's because of change management. I will come back later on it, but that was the biggest part of the project, to explain people not only how to use a new messaging system. I mean, it's just a tool, so it doesn't matter what kind of tool is it. It's just another way of working. So I will tell you afterwards what we have done, and we are not only changing the mailbox, we are changing the whole way of working of the company. And the first, and our Google platform is called Become. Why Become? Become, it's, I didn't want it to be a project, you know, like you start a project, after 1 year you end the project, it's like a tunnel effect. I mean, nobody hears about the project and about what's going on the project during 1 year. So what we first, so we did communicate all the time. And the first communication action we had is to define the name of the platform. So we made like a game within the company to win an iPhone or and things like this. And I mean, the people who will find the name of the platform will win this iPhone. So that was the name which came out. We had 900 different names, and that was the name we found. The double M for Malakoff Mederic, the .com from the internet, Become just to show that it's an innovative platform, and B, it's because it was the best example of animal which was working together. So it's a good way to show to the Malakoff Mederic user that they are using a collaborative platform. They are working like bees together and to reach the same goal. So why did we go to Google Apps? So the first reason, as I told you before, was to mitigate the data level increase on our server. It's expensive, we have to duplicate it, we have people in charge of managing the data server, so it's expensive. The other point is, yeah, improving the document management system. If one people in a company is archiving its data on his laptop and on the private server, then he's leaving the company. I mean, what can we do with all this information which is not used anymore, and we keep it for 10 years, 20 years, and okay, maybe one day we have to delete it, but we have to be sure that we can delete this information, so it's complicated. The second point is, as I told you before, it's a new way of working. I mean, personally, I think that the strength of a company, it's not the individual competency of each employee. And the strength of a company, it's not the sum of this individual competency. It's putting all this competency together to work in another way. Like, I mean, I used to make like PowerPoint presentation in my previous life. And I mean, I used to work alone on my presentations, and I used to send a few versions to other people who gave me their input, but their input was based on what I wrote. And then I get the feedback, and then I have to consolidate everything and so on. So the thing is, working together is just leveraging on the competency of the different people who are working with me, and maybe have an absolute different point of view on the presentation. Maybe generate new ideas, new possibilities. So that's a good point about collaboration. It's a new way of working. It's sharing information. It's going from my information, the information I've got on my laptop, the information I got in my head, to our information, to the information of the company. Okay, ongoing innovative process. The thing is, we're an insurance company, so we are not at the top of the IT. I mean, we are not Google, we are not a startup. So, I mean, we are using IT like a company is using IT as a tool. But we want to go a bit further. We want to be innovative. We want to be early adopters. We want to have new tools to help us to increase our productivity. So this was one of the reasons why we choose Google. And the last point, I mean, we're a company, we're a private company, so earning money and saving money is an important point. So I had to build a huge business case in order to present the reason why we moved to Google. Why is it better? Why is it cheaper? Why is it a gain for our company? And that was one of the key points which led us to move to Google. Just a few words about the way we deployed, because it's just my return of experience, so I just want to explain you how we moved to Google Apps. We had different challenges to move to Google, because I mean, you must have the same question. It's, I've got my own infrastructure on Exchange, on Office. I'm working this way. I've got rich client. Why should I move to Google? Why should I mean, maybe sometimes people fear having their information in the cloud because things could be public, could be hacked by someone. What I say most of the time is, like 50 years ago, you used to put your money under your bed and save it like this. And today, you put your money at the bank. Why at the bank? Because it's the job of the bank to save your money. And the bank has the whole infrastructure and the whole security to preserve your money, and your bed doesn't. So that's the point where we go into the cloud. And so you see, I mean, I had a lot of questions from trade union, from executive, from people using Google. I have to convince them, I have to reassure them, I have to just make them feel comfortable with the new tool. So I had to convince. I needed the executive support. Executive support is very important, because once you have the support of your executive committee, then all the users will migrate. They will say, okay, if the boss has moved to Google, then I can do it as well. But if the executive is more doesn't want to move to Google and are making at last, so that's a bit more complicated. Creating the willing to migrate. So that's one point why we made so much communication around the project, is because we want to make people volunteer to migrate, make them, you know, like communicate on saying, if you move to Google, you can do this and that and that. So making people curious and make them want to move to Google. The most, it's like a snowball. If one people of your department, of two people of your department are migrating to a new tool and are happy with this new tool, then the rest of the people will do the same, and so on and so on. So make people willing to migrate is very important for change management. Risk. That's a big issue. So when we moved to the platform, it was not so much a technical risk, because the platform is in the cloud. Millions of people are using this platform, so that's okay. It's explaining to the people that they will not lose their information, they will not get hacked, they can get access to all their information wherever they want to get access to it. So it just being next to the people and explaining them not only where is the information, but help them to use the new tool, because it's a big difference between what they used to have and what they will have. So explaining how they use it, and I will show you a few figures I have on this presentation. The call to the support when using Google, and the year and 1 year before. So we will see the difference when using Outlook and using Google. Facilitate support. So we put the emphasis on training people, on making a lot of change management, of making a lot of communication, having a support. I will tell you afterwards what I mean by support. And really ensure that the user has the best experience. The thing is, when you move to one solution to the other, I mean, it doesn't matter what is the solution, if it's Google or if it's something else. You have one current solution, people are maybe not happy with it, but they are used to it, so they are still using it. If you are changing the solution, they will be scared, they will be a bit lost with a new solution, so they will be unhappy, and then with the time it will increase. So what I wanted with a lot of change management is to avoid this deep peak, to go too deep and to be as short as possible. So how did we manage this project? So we had a project team with two parts, one functional part and one technical part. So the technical part with technical team just to make sure the different environment can communicate and that everything is accurate with the internet access and so on. And functional team for the change management, for the trainings, for the communication, all this stuff. And we were helped during this project by Google. They help us with change management and with some technical points. And also with Revol, which brought us a lot of change management expertise. It's exactly what we wanted at the beginning, because we didn't want a big company to deploy a scheme that they put in every company. What we want is really expertise. Is when we have a question on training, when we want to adapt training to a specific population, then we want expertise from the company. And Revol was the perfect partner for this. And also for migration expertise, helping us to put together the tools to migrate the different information from the Office and Outlook environment to Google Apps. And after, we have a run team. I will tell you afterwards why we have a run team. A run team helping the user to use it functionally, but also to leverage the platform technically. Okay, maybe a big slide, but I will go very shortly on it. The thing is, when we moved to the Google platform, as I said, we made a lot of change management. I mean, we could have done it in like 2 weeks, like migrating 6,500 users. It's just a technical thing. But we didn't want people to come in the morning, on the Monday morning, and to have a brand new messaging tool and a document tool and not being able to use it, because, I mean, it just makes no sense. It's far much better if we explain them what is collaboration, how they can use it, how they can communicate, how they can chat, how they can video chat, how they can build sites, use groups. So it's make a lot more added value. So what we have done is, when we did migrate during this year, we just made a first step with the preparation. Preparation is building the different environment. It's building an environment in Google Apps, in the current environment in Outlook on Exchange. And the thing is, we had two different entities to migrate. So each one was one in Exchange and the other one in Google. So we have to be sure that everything can communicate together. And just if you set up a meeting to someone, be sure that he will get the invitation, that he will reply, and see if he is available or not. So that was the first part. And the zero step was to migrate the project team, because, I mean, we should be the first one who have to migrate and to be the first ones on the Google Apps platform. Then the population 1 and 2, we migrated all the people in the company working in projects, because who can better use the Google Apps platforms than people working in projects? If you are working in project, you have to share documents, you have to work together, you have to be reachable everywhere where you are. So that was the best population to use this kind of platform. The thing is, we made a dedicated training and change management to this kind of population, because they have an advanced usage of the platform and not just a mailbox usage. They really have to use the whole documents, everything. So that was the first population. And in the population 2, we also trained and migrate champions. Champions are, we have 60 entities by Malakoff Mederic. So champions are people in each entity which are, like Louis, evangelists, people talking about Google, making Google publicity, making Google advertising everywhere. If people have migrated on the Google platform, then they can go to this person, ask questions, and just get some solutions. So, and as well, we can get input, I mean, feedback from the different entities from this champion. The population 3, I mean, as you can see, we just migrated 700 people after the step 2. Step 3 was one of the most critical step because we had to migrate all the executive of the company. And not only the executive, but all the assistant of the company. And both are really critical population. So we have to be sure that everything is working accurately, that the delegation system worked fine between the assistant and the executive, that everything went fine. That was the most critical part. Not critical because it was difficult, just critical because it was critical. I mean, I just can't miss the deployment of the big boss. So. And after, during the last 2 months or 3 months, we did migrate the whole company. The rest of the user, by Malakoff Mederic, are most people who are answering at the phone and on phone platform and people working on contract and so on, so they just don't have a big need of I mean, they don't have such an advanced need, such as project team. So we did set up different training, a shorter training, it lasts for 3 hours, where we explain the whole platform, and we migrated like between 250 and 300 people a week, and just to be sure we end the project at the date where it was supposed to be ended. So we ended at the end of in the middle of November, more exactly on the 1st of November. Everybody was on the Google platform, and now we have other challenges I will talk to you about later on. So what did we do on the Google Apps platform? So we set up all the modules, so messaging, communication, sites, docs, everything except GA+. All the new modules of GA+, like Picasa, Analytics, and so on, are not deployed in the company. Everything is blocked. Google Doc do not replace Office. I think that's one of your main concern. I presume you are using Office and a bit scared to move to the Google Docs. The thing is, when we did move to Google Apps, the spreadsheet, presentation, and doc was absolutely not at the level of the Office suite. It's still behind, and today it's still behind. I mean, just to be honest, it's not the same functionality you can find on both tools. But I mean, that's normal. Office is running for I don't know how many years, and it's a rich client. I mean, you have a lot of functionality, and even on Excel, even if I have an advanced usage of Excel, I just use like maximum 20% of what Excel is capable to do. The thing is, we set rules in the company. When do you have to use Office, and when should you use Google Docs? Google Docs are to collaborate. If you want to create a document, if you want to build something, if you want to communicate on something, then use Google Docs. If you're working in the controlling and you have a very, very complicated spreadsheet to do with like the business case I did at the beginning for the Google project, a 10 MB business case, then okay, I keep on doing it on Excel. It's not the same usage. You use Google Docs to collaborate, and okay, you can use the Office tools if you want to stay in the old world and make complicated stuff. I used to work 10 years in consulting before, so I mean, if you take me away PowerPoint, I'm the saddest boy on earth. So the thing is, and currently presentation is definitely not at the level of a PowerPoint. But I saw today it's getting better, it's has get new functionalities and everything. So it's just a question of, I mean, currently the Google Suite is enough for me, but if I need some specific functionalities, then okay, I can make it in the Office and then upload it in my Google Doc in the cloud. as I just told before, we structure the migration population in specific populations. The first one, the early adopters, the executive, and the rest of the population, and the champions also. So really important to have different population to migrate, different training, different change management. So that's important thing when you deploy. And communicate all the time. That's the thing we have done. It's just communicate. Communicate just because Google is not. It's not just an IT project. It's a new way of working. It's really impacting deeply the user. So you have to communicate all the time and to just be next to the user to help them to get the appropriation of the new platform. So just as I said, we made a strong change management. Just a few examples of what we have done. So just find the name of the platform, as I explained you before. We build a Google site, which is a community. When the user of Malakoff Mederic have a question or any issue regarding the platform, they can go on their own on this community. This community gives all the videos, the walkthrough to help people like building a document, developing a group, how to use Gmail, how to use Docs, how to use sites. All the questions you can have, you can just ask a question here and you find all the solution here. Most of the solution. User training, as I said, we're training the people of Malakoff Mederic and also champions, because we couldn't do all the trainings on our own. So all the champions of the company did training as well. And it was a good point because when people of your own company training you, it's it's like we're doing it in family. It's a bit different way to see the deployment. And also, if you have any question, you know that the trainer is always in the company, so it helps. We made videos, we made newsletter, we made poster just to communicate on the fact we are moving to Google. We had also two people from a university in Paris who made a survey during 1 year to analyze the deployment of the platform. They analyzed in 3 different points during this year how people are using the platform, what is the biggest weaknesses, what are the strengths, what could be done better, and so on and so on. So at the end, we have a big survey on the perception of the platform at Malakoff Mederic. We made a workshop, we make showrooms. Workshop, it's like, sometimes we make a workshop like every week on 2 hours if you want to discover more on spreadsheet, more on doc, more on site. So people who are interested come in the room and just listen and ask questions about how it's working. And showroom is more for communication purpose. It's just to explain, okay, we are moving to Google, Google is doing this and this. It's more communication. And hotline. So we, like all of you, I presume you have a technical hotline. If somebody has an issue in your company, he pick up the phone and ask the question like, I cannot log in anymore to my computer, or I've got this and that problem. So we still have a technical hotline, but we created a functional hotline because the usage of Google are much richer and much further. The Office tool, the user of Malakoff Mederic could give a ring at the hotline and ask, for example, okay, I've got to make a pivot table on spreadsheet, and I want to generate gadget, and I want to put everything in a site. How do I do this? Can you help me? Can you give me a walkthrough? So there was somebody at the phone explaining how they should use and just answering the different questions the people have. Technical deployment, I will just go through very, very fast. What we have done, so during the migration, there were different tools given by Google to deploy and to migrate the platform in the in the cloud. So for the Exchange migration, we use a Google tool. For the directory synchronization between Exchange and Google, we have a special application which is called Google Apps Directory Sync. We have also Google Web Security to make the surfing, the navigation, and so on the internet. And we did use Firefox. Because we chose it in 2009, Chrome was not mature enough. We did have Internet Explorer 6, and we couldn't make an evolution of Internet Explorer because you cannot have two different Internet Explorer on one computer. So at that time, we did choose Firefox. We still have Firefox today, but we do currently have an issue about the offline mode, which is only supported by Chrome. So that's one thing we are currently working on. So I think we defined yesterday the solution we will have in our company for offline and for all this solution, but it's a bit tricky, and you know, it's Firefox issue, it's EN9 issue, it's Chrome, which is evolving every 2 weeks. So the thing is, if you want to keep your support, you have to upgrade all the time and to choose the right browser. So that's one point. The thing is, once this project is finished, this full deployment, we could say, okay, it's over, everybody's working on Google, and if they have a question, they can have a look at the community. The thing is, after the deployment, we created a department which is called Group Transformation. So that's the department I'm leading at Malakoff Mederic. And the objective of this department is to ensure the success and the adoption of the Google Apps platform. Everything what can be done through Google Apps is done in my department. Project, communication, change management, following the roadmap, the evolution of the Google Apps platform, everything what can be done to improve the productivity and the work of the user in the company through Google is done in this department. So we make post-deployment, so we still deploying the subdomain and the Exchange object transposition. So that's one big subject, is moving the distribution list, the public folder, the formula from Outlook to Google. That's a big topic. The other one is supporting user and developing usage. So developing usage, it's all the time change management, helping people to improve their usage of the platform. So that's one big topic. The platform promotion, all the communication, we created with 3 other companies a Google group, a Google club in France. This club is only for people who have moved to Google and have finished the deployment. And we meet every 3 months and discuss about topics regarding Google, develop white paper, and work on this subject. The other company, a big company, it's Valeo, for example. It's like 30,000 users. It's Euromaster, which is a big company too, and other companies. So we created this club, and it's very interesting because what we can see is we are all facing the same issue. So it makes no sense to just reinvent the wheel every time. So if somebody has faced the issue, then, I mean, better ask this person how he solves this issue rather than thinking and trying to learn by ourselves. So if we can just share knowledge, it makes sense. And following the platform evolution, because all the time we've got new application, new functionality, new tool from Google. So we just have to communicate on this tool and maybe informing users that we have this and this new functionality. Just a few charts. This here is what we did develop this year with the Google Apps platform, because having the Google Apps platform is one thing, but being able to plug Google Apps with our corporate information system could be a good added value. So what we have done is, for example, for this application, we made a monitoring site on Google site, and developed engine on Google Apps Engine, which goes in Hyperion, picking up information from our financial and from our financial system, and putting it in this monitoring table, and everything, and you can have all the information in real time on your smartphone, on your laptop, on your tablet, wherever. So everything is done on Google. We also have built this one. This site was developed on Google Apps Engine 2, and get all the information about all the incoming calls on our phone platform. So you can monitor on real time how many people are calling, why they are calling, how many people are queuing at on the phone, what they are asking, if they have a reply. I mean, all the information you can have in real time on a TV, on tablet, on laptops, and on phone. So we develop a lot of different applications. I won't dig into all, but just an example. What I'm monitoring all the time is the evolution of collaboration in the company. So 5,500, 6,500 is the number of people in the company. Here is the 1st of January. At the 1st of January, 3 months after deployment, only 2,700 people have created at least one document on the platform. Now, in September, I've got nearly 3,500. So you see, I still have a lot of change management to do and make people use. But nevertheless, I mean, nearly 5,500 are collaborating on the platform. So nearly everybody has at least collaborate on one document. So I'm still working on it, but collaboration is getting bigger and bigger in the company. And what we can see above is, I just made a slide, just a chart, explaining on the blue one is the incident we had at the support on Outlook and Office, okay? But 1 year before the migration, was in 2009, okay? This is the same figure, but after the Google deployment. So you can see when you put both together, it's the same, approximately the same, a little bit less on Google Apps. But the thing, what is interesting is that people calling because they have an incident on the platform is below. But people asking because they want a new usage, they have a question on Google Apps is far above. So people were used to using Office, but now on Google Apps they have questions, they want to use it, they want to discover the tool. So you see, for question it's above, but for incident it's far below. So just as a conclusion, moving to Google, it's not just an IT project. It's not just for cost reduction. It's a real mind shift, because you are not just changing a tool. Google is just a tool. You have the possibility to change the whole way of working of your company, and that's really a big challenge. And it could be a good productivity. I mean, you can leverage your productivity using this. Okay? So I don't know if you have any question.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I do.
First of all, congratulations for a very nice transformation and change management project. I think in software implementations, that's the key, and I think you did a very good job. Secondly, I was curious, how was the evolution of the project from a perspective of cost and time? Were you on time, or how was the...
Okay, at the beginning of the project, when we launched the project, I mean, I was a project director of this project, so I made a budget for the whole deployment, and I had a discussion with the executive, and I told him, okay, I can do it in 1 year, because in 1 year I have to make a lot of change management. I set up a plan and everything. The project was done in terms of budget below the budget, below the time frame set, and exactly what was expected. So the project ran perfectly. I mean, it was not easy every day, believe me. But the thing is, we managed to run the project without cost increase, without time increase, and just delivering exactly what we had to deliver at the beginning. The thing is, we could have delivered more. But first, it was not in the scope, and secondly, the thing is, there were things which were not available at the time when we migrated. For example, Malakoff Mederic is a sum of like 10 different entities. We wanted, I mean, the good solution would have been to make subdomains. So just for a better communication. This was not possible at this time because there was no multi-domain at Google. So we have to find another way. So we could have integrated more companies, but the solution was not available at the time. It's the same for the Google Groups. So Google Groups is one solution to solve the public folder question, and groups are only available since beginning of this year. So we've done what, I mean, the scope was only what was possible to do at the time we defined the scope.
Okay, my second question, did you make analysis on energy gains before, compared to before the system and the new system? Did you have a focus on that?
Energy? No, I didn't put energy on my business case. On the business case, I focused more on other points, apart of talking about the cost of Office and the cost of Google. I also took into account the fact that Google helps us to be mobile, meaning we don't need any more 3G cards to get a connection through a secure something. We can get access everywhere, so that's one point. People can work from, I mean, it's not for people to work from home, but if I want, I can work from home. I've got exactly all my information. So it just, the business case didn't go that deep on energy saving, but of course there will be energy saving because if you remove your whole data center. But the thing is, I mean, you don't have to be too optimistic, because it's not because you are moving to Google that you will remove your data center, because on our data center we've got information from our internal IS system. So okay, we are saving server, we are saving maybe other things, but we cannot close the data server because we have other applications running on it. What?
For the end.
Okay.
And we have the last presentation.
Okay.
Urmează